first, we got to talk a little football. And before we do that, we got to fuel up, turn up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. It brings the bold grape, ginger, and lime flavor of your favorite golf drink, minus the alcohol, into a quick, energizing shot. Whether you're sinking birdies or just making memories with friends, this one's a hole-in-one for your energy game. And let's be honest, some days on the course and even off it, you just need that extra boost to stay sharp and energized. Golf is all about the good times with good people and good flavors, of course. The grape, ginger, lime flavor gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without chasing down the beverage cart. If you go to 5hourenergy.com today, that is the number 5hourenergy.com. You can use promo code LOCKEDONGOLF to receive 20% off your order. The offer is only valid until September 30th on one order and cannot be used with other promotions. The code is not good on subscription orders. Whether you're meeting up with friends or trying to turn 18 holes into 36, get the energizing boost you need to power through. Order transfusion-flavored 5-Hour Energy shots today. Jason, late in yesterday's show, you mentioned some of Jimmy Haslam's comments about Shedeur Sanders and how you felt like it was being twisted into a story that it never was intended to be. And after you said that, I got flooded on Twitter with questions of what exactly did Jimmy say, what is being twisted. So I did some research and I found that you were very right. People were taking some of these comments, in my opinion, way out of context, saying that the Browns may have drafted Shedeur to try and intentionally tank his career based off what Jimmy said.
So stupid.
So what we're going to do is
that right there might be the dumbest thing I've heard in 5 years.
So what we're going to do is play the entire
You aren't kidding.
clip from Jimmy Haslam's press conference. Question, answer, question, answer. It was the only part that was related to Shedeur Sanders. I have put the question on the video so you can see word for word what the question is because the reporters aren't mic'd up.
Right.
You can hear Jimmy fine, but this is a minute part of Jimmy Haslam's press conference from earlier this week on Shedeur Sanders and the Browns' thought process in terms of drafting him. And then I'm very curious to see how you guys took what Jimmy Haslam said and whether or not it aligns with some of these conspiracy theories. This is Jimmy Haslam from earlier this week.
We haven't talked to you since the draft. So can you explain why the Browns felt the need to draft Shedeur after drafting a quarterback in the third round and adding two guys?
Well, I think that's really more of an Andrew question, okay? But I think, what was that pick, 146? We thought he was good value at 146.
Jimmy, there's been kind of like a national narrative that you were the person who forced the Shedeur pick, or maybe people have called it the owner pick. Well, what would you say to that?
Yeah, listen, we have good process, okay? And if you'd have told me, let's see, we picked him on Saturday, right? Friday night driving home, y'all are going to pick Shedeur. I would say that's not happening. But we had a conversation early that morning, and then we had a conversation later that day. I think we had the right people involved in the conversation. At the end of the day, that's Andrew Berry's call. Andrew made the call to pick Shedeur. Just like who's going to start or what play we're going to call is Kevin's call. But that's Andrew's call. He made the call.
Jason, dissect that, then I'm very curious to what G has to say on these comments.
I don't know how you can take that as they didn't want him and they're trying to ruin his career.
I don't either.
Like, what kind of long jump Carl Lewis leap are we making here? They traded up to wreck his career. That's how diabolical the Browns are. They traded up so that they could say, screw the Sanders family. We're going to
show him.
We're going to run a ball into the ground. What he's very clearly saying for anybody with a lick of common sense is when they left the building Friday night, they didn't think he was going to be there in the 5th round. They had already had their quarterback. Of course they weren't still going to consider taking another quarterback when he kept falling and kept falling and kept falling on Saturday, regardless of whose decision it was to move up to get him. As an organization, they made the decision to move up to get him, not because they're trying to tank this poor kid's career, because they have a job open at quarterback. And they thought, you know what? Let's give him a shot. We never thought he'd be here. The value's right. Let's take him and see. Where else is Shedeur Sanders going to go that has an opportunity to win a starting job this year? Where? Tell me. New Orleans? Yeah, okay, I'll listen to that. Maybe New Orleans. Where else is he going to go where he has a better opportunity to win a starting job than Cleveland? So for all of the fragile people who have lost their minds on this and thinking that the Browns are screwing them. They're not. This team has needed a quarterback for 25 years. Why on earth would they try and railroad someone who might be able to help them? He's here. It's early in camp. They're giving him opportunities, so let it play out. He's going to get a ton of snaps in this preseason, and let's see what he can do. But the idea that they're trying to sabotage him is so stupid that I just can't even, I'm just done. I can't even wrap my head around it. And to try and to manipulate what he said into some idea that he didn't want, or that they didn't want him, like, I just don't understand how you can make that. I would love someone to logically explain it to me, because it just doesn't make any sense at all.
G?
Oh, this is a great one. So let me see if I can break this down. So when you look at that comment with Jimmy Haslam is saying, what Jimmy Haslam is saying is, obviously the owner cannot come out and say, you know what, I just woke up and decided I wanted Shedeur Sanders. That's not the way it works, because at the end of the day, that means that's undermining your general manager. And you see, the first thing he said in that clip, if you listen to it, is we have a good process. He knows that if he was to do that, a lot of people around the NFL and people in the media would say, that's not the way it works. The owner shouldn't just jump in and just pick people and just, tank the entire draft strategy. Think about it. It's like putting together a whole year process, right? These people have scouts. They have people, regional scouts, major scouts. They got the front office. They got the analytics. They got the head coach and the coaching staff. These guys have put this plan together for a whole entire year to draft said players. Now, if the narrative is Jimmy Haslam can come in at the very last moment at 12 midnight and be like, you know what? Get rid of all this. We're not doing that. People will frown upon that. Given the fact that his process and him being a person that has been a little bit knee-jerk, he's second to me. I'm the first knee-jerk reaction. So that's not it's not a knock against him. Here's the thing. This is why I say this season is going to be very poignant and it's going to be very interesting. Because there is not going to be, like I always tell people, don't fret. There isn't going to be a way that if Shedeur Sanders is actually playing good football, that they can keep him on the sideline and not give him opportunity to play. Because people will be loud and very loud about the fact that they want to see him play. That is very evident. For the Cleveland Browns, I think that when you say, they want to sabotage him. Here's the thing about sports in general. When you're playing and you get to a position during the season, and you can say, all right, we're trying. If there's any inappropriate behavior where it looks like you're not trying to win, that don't work during the season. And to be honest with you, the Cleveland Browns, I don't believe can afford to go out and be 2-something and play veterans and not give rookies an opportunity, because it'll get loud and it's going to get nasty because people are going to want to see it. So in that case, no, the Cleveland Browns and Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry, the best thing in the world for them to do is want to see Shedeur Sanders ball out. The best thing, and by the way, if he does play well, they're going to be able to take a great victory lap and be able to sign their deal away for life. Come on, the first thing they're going to say is, look, we took him in the 5th round. Nobody else took him in the 5th round. We took him here, and guess what? We developed him too. And now look how think how smart you look if you have the Deshaun Watson deal, you get him for a discount, you develop him, he's a 5th round pick, and now all of a sudden you could do the victory laps.
Oh, you get carried around on the shoulders of the city like San Francisco for Brock Purdy, New England.
If he gets it right.
Of course.
So yes. No, they don't want him to take no L. I believe it's just the simple fact that people get antsy because they want to see him play. And when you get antsy and when you be in your feelings, you tend to get in your feelings a little bit, right? And you're like, I don't want to hear nothing the owner got to say. I feel like they railroading him, right? But always be patient. Time will come. As Jason says, he will get an opportunity to play and a lot, right?
This preseason, yeah.
Yes, he will.
He's going to get a chance. And guess what?
We're going to find out.
That's the best part about it.
We're going to find out.
You can't hide, Jay.
Nope.
Nobody can
Now,
hide.
you could have success in the preseason that does not translate to the regular season.
Absolutely.
We've seen it a million times.
We see it every year.
But here's what you can't do. Bomb in the preseason and have success in the regular season. That rarely, if ever, happens. So, cart before horse. And all of what you guys said, I agree with everything. There's one piece that I feel you've left out. I'll hit on that in a second. But this notion that, the Browns, that's it. They're railroading them. My God, put your social media thumbs away and go get a life. You are outthinking this. You're trying to find conspiracy theories where there are none. Why in the world would the Browns take this kid to ruin his career? I would really like to sit down with someone who really believes that and say, okay, sell me that bill of goods. Sell me how it benefits the Browns to trade up and take a kid for the sole purpose of wrecking his career.
And for all the people that don't want him here, where would you like him to go?
Right.
Where else is he going to have this opportunity?
This is the place for him.
What other job is open?
Exactly. And now the other thing too is this argument can be made down the road. If he flames out, you could then say, well, look what he had around him. He had no talent around him. How was he supposed to? Fair point.
Great quarterbacks elevate the players around.
They absolutely do. And G, I agreed with much of what you said, except for there's one problem that I think a lot of folks are overlooking about the noise part. Well, if the other guys aren't playing well, there's going to be a lot of noise and he's going to get his chance. The problem here with a lot of this mindset is that he was the 5th round pick. And there happens to be a guy on the roster who they valued much more, who was a 3rd round pick.
Okay.
So
go ahead.
From the standpoint of doing victory laps if he hits, absolutely. However, if that happens, you're now answering the question, well, why did you take Dillon Gabriel and waste a pick in the 3rd round? So don't break your arm patting yourself on the back if this kid hits, because you wasted, if it plays out where Dillon can't play and Shedeur can.
It won't matter. People will be so euphoric.
I know they will.
It won't matter.
But in the grand scheme of things, the 3rd round pick is still going to go down as another one we gave away. We give away a lot of 3rd round picks.
We said for months. G said this for months, and I agreed with him. Take 2. Take 2.
Hey.
If you take 2, one of them's not going to work. So if you take 2 and one works, that's good enough.
The only thing,
the order doesn't matter.
I agree with that. Now, if it's job application and you got 2 guys in or you got 7 guys in, you're going to get the best applicant with 7.
So what happens if, say, Shedeur wins the job and Dillon Gabriel becomes a backup?
Great.
Is that a problem?
No.
Well, there you go. So it don't matter what order you took him.
Here's why it's not a problem. As long as we get a quarterback. See, I think what's already developing here, and this is bad, guys, I'm just going to say it, this is bad. I've talked before about our divisive fan base.
Oh, no. There's no way. It's baked in. It's baked in.
And you know what? I'm finding that it is a problem. It will continue to be a problem.
What do you mean?
So, Jay, I've been asked a million times, who do you want to be this? So, and we're going to talk about this. Who should be? Who will be? Who do you want to be? The answer to who you want to be is a very simple one. The best guy.
Yeah.
Who's going to give us the best chance to win? That's who I want as our quarterback. And if that person is 4'2", 300 pounds, but somehow when they put him out there, despite the fact that he shouldn't be able to move the team, he moves the team. That's my favorite quarterback.
I'm definitely doing a story on him.
That's my guy.
If there's a 4'2", 300 pounder,
he's going to be
front page of the New York Times.
Can you imagine the side of that?
This is why I have always said on every single platform, people are like, G. Bush, you go crazy for Shedeur. I say, listen, if you listen, I got hours of film. I said, listen, man, the first thing you got to understand about me is I'm just married to what happens. If I go, listen, I thought Deshaun Watson was going to be good, right? And then I went and looked at the film and said, oh, you missed that guy, this guy, this guy, this guy, and this guy. No, bro, you're not balling today. So if Dillon Gabriel, I went to camp and I told Jason, I said, man, he got a little better arm than I thought he did. Before Kenny Pickett, right? If Kenny Pickett balls out and he hurt his hamstring, I said Kenny Pickett had a nice day today. I felt he was rolling out, using his legs more and all.
Right.
Now listen, I'm just married to what happens on the field. Now here's the point I think a lot of people get misconstrued. When people are reporting this, a lot of people have got to the point where, and this doesn't have anything to do with specifically you or anybody, but there's this level of people will say, well, they're diminishing what happens on the field, and they're saying, well, this guy looked good, and sure, he was fine, whatever, he was over on the other field. What you're saying is the backlash from that. If people just said this, right, and there's a lot of people that are unwilling to say this. Hey, look, man, you know what? I wasn't that high on Shedeur. I thought it was more hype, but I'll give him credit. After, the ticket thing, he's been really great in the media. He's been saying all the right things. I think he's picking the offense up. Right now, I don't know if he's going to start, but I'm willing to see more of him. And look, he's getting some first-team reps, and we'll evaluate as we go. Like, hey, the Browns need a quarterback, so we'll see what he can do. I wasn't really high on him coming out of college, but hey, listen, it's a competition. If people said that, nobody would have a problem with it.
Well, that's what everybody should say, though, G. And not just a quarterback. Let's talk about center.
Yeah, that's
okay. And let's see. Here's the problem: we start assigning names and attributes to these guys, and the whole thing gets muddied. Give me the best player at all 22 positions.
But that's not what's being asked. Everyone wants to ask you who had the better day. Who was better,
and Jay,
Dillon or Shedeur?
Isn't that ridiculous too?
But so now I got to put a name on it, and if I don't give the right name, I just pissed off whoever's camp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
So, G, I hear what you're saying, and I've kind of said that. I was talking to somebody with the Browns. They're like, "Well, where are you on this?" I'm like, "I'm neutral. I want to see him play.
Get the
I
best
just want
guy.
to see who plays."
That's your job, by the way, not our job.
Yeah.
When people ask me, listen. We cover the team. We don't guide the team. Those that guide the team make a lot more money because that skill set is much harder to come by. It's supply and demand. You guys have the football knowledge. You see every snap. You're in every meeting. You get the right guy. And that's my guy.
But that goes back to what Mike said. Mike had a topic last week, the week before, of like, what are you looking for in camp? Like, listen, if I knew what I was doing, I wouldn't be a sports writer.
No, you'd be a coach.
I would be a GM. So my job is to talk to people in the NFL, talk to people in the organization, and relay to you what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
I'm not going to sit down and break, look, I don't know if he's supposed to throw it to the seam route. I don't know where he's supposed to go.
Jay,
with
bottom
it.
line, none of us do.
So I'm not going to sit
Jim
here
Mora
and
knew what he was
evaluate that.
saying when he said the media thinks they know, but they don't.
But I try not to do. So I tell you, I thought he threw it fine. I thought he had a good day. He was fine.
Right.
He got him in and out of the plays. It seemed like he knew what he was doing. Had command of the huddle. That's what I'm looking at. And obviously, don't throw interceptions. Can we agree on that?
Yeah.
When you throw picks, that's bad. No matter what the play was supposed
Touchdown's
to be,
good,
it wasn't
picks
supposed
bad.
to be going the other way.
Right. And we know that.
More than anything, Jay, at heart, I'm just a old, MAC football washed up guy who likes to watch the game.
Sure.
That's it. So for me, and I always tell people, you can't get mad at I can't get mad at Anthony because he likes a certain anime more than my favorite anime.
Nope.
Like that's just one of his
Or a favorite food, or a favorite movie, or whatever.
That's his thing.
Personal taste.
So if people are writers and journalists, like Jason said, they're doing other things. For me, I want to go watch. I want to see what he's doing. I want to look at your mechanics. I want to do all this. I just like being on the field. But the greatest thing about this is you're going to get a chance to see. Always tell people, you listen, in life, I truly believe this. Like, not just saying I'm preaching. I believe that wherever you're supposed to be, God will put you there. And it might not be here or it might be there. And I've even come, as I've grown, to say, I look at it as a business. Hey, even if Shedeur if it don't work out for him here, maybe it ain't for him to be. It could be somewhere else.
Maybe it will be. And that happens with a lot of guys. It wasn't right for Baker.
It wasn't right. And so I can't get mad at Baker because what he learned here put him in a trajectory to do what he's doing now.
Exactly.
So
look how many guys, look at last year, Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold got in another system and suddenly looked like a butterfly and not a worm.
How many systems was he in before that?
Right.
4? I
Well,
don't know.
3 that I can think of.
A lot of
So with the Jets, he was with the Panthers. And was there a stop between the Panthers and the Vikings?
Yeah. I don't remember what it was.
And do we agree about this? There's one thing that is undeniable. Maybe the way I think about it. The way I think about franchise quarterbacks is when they do certain things, whether you're a detractor or whether you're a hater or you just don't think, it's undeniable.
You know it when you see it.
You can't even hate it.
Yep.
Like if you can say I don't like Lamar Jackson, but there's 7 times a game you're like, damn.
He did it again.
Damn.
And
Joe
it was
Burrow,
the same
damn.
thing. Like I always bring this up because he was a bit of a dichotomy here in that when Baker came into the Jets game and we all saw it, we're like, that's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's what I've been looking for.
Me, Bull, you,
Everybody.
Dustin,
Gee,
everybody.
It was we got our guy.
It was
We finally got it
undeniable.
right. And then all of a sudden, like this, we're like, wait, that's not it.
It was the Jets game when the beer coolers opened and everything else. I've told the story
were
before.
done.
Jim
We had our
Brown,
guy.
when they did the press conference, I was in the locker room and no one else was really in there yet. And Jim Brown came clickety-clacking across the locker room with this cane. And it was just the sound of the cane. And he came up to me and he goes, we got our guy.
Man.
Like, Jim Brown.
That was it. And
Coronated.
I'll say this, and I'm not saying it's going to happen in the preseason because I don't think it will. But if Dillon or Shedeur are our guys, they're going to get chances this year.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's not going to be on the first throw or the first series or the first quarter, but it might well be in that first game. There's going to be enough there for either guy for us to say, oh, that ain't it, or, oh, that could be it. That might be it.
And Jay, remember, just really quickly here, let me just give y'all how the temperature is. Remember when Hugh Jackson said that Baker Mayfield had earned the backup job?
Yes.
You remember how hot people was?
Well, because he was the number 1 overall pick.
I was like, what do you mean he earned the back? Like, I was going crazy like this, like just like now that I was going back then, because I'm like, bro, you got Tyrod Taylor. No disrespect to Tyrod or Tyrod or wherever he is. We not trying to see that. And guess what? Lo and behold, Tyrod Taylor goes down.
Yeah.
And Baker Mayfield comes on.
And we saw it.
And the first rope he threw was a back shoulder seam route to Jarvis Landry, and I said, I ain't seen no throw like that in 5 to 7
No,
years.
That's right.
You
We
see
know
it,
it
G.
when we see it.
I said, what is this?